and then online as well. Socials, you should be able to hear me too. So one little change to my setup here on request. They wanted my charts lighter. I don't know. I still prefer the dark, but I'll make it lighter for you guys if you want as well. But perfect. Okay, cool. So let's see what we are doing overnight over here. What's up, James? You can see in the chat too, Tony. Yes, sir. Okay, cool. So 15-minute time frame here on ES. We obviously sold off yesterday. I managed to catch a little bit of NQ and YM. So just a little bit of a feedback from my own side, from my own trading yesterday, is that I think the shorts on NQ and ES were a lot easier. We break the opening range low over here, and we just continue to sell off. Same as NQ. We break the opening range low, okay, and we just sell off pretty hard. YM, however, did take a little bit more time to end up falling. I was looking for that 49K level, which is that level that we were coming across the screen over here, 49K. Okay, it was showing quite some a zone in there between 49K and 49.1. I ended up shorting it from here, multiple entries up in here, back towards opening range low. I had a small run out on back towards that level, nothing. Maybe I could have been bigger on that size, but I think I did well to play it in that range. If we go down to the 5-minute chart, I did well to get the shorts off of here. We had the New York session. Let's first put the New York session VWAP on. So maybe I should have been in NQ or ES, but I mean, I'll be happy to take that win on YM as well. So I played the shorts over here, my original entry, and then I got 2 entries back down here and then back towards those opening range lows. So that's how I played it yesterday. We're trading underneath the opening range low. Everything on the screen was also pointing bearish. To pull that, I did make a tweet on it as well, so make sure you are following my socials. If we pull up that tweet too, everything on the screen was telling us to be short bias, and it was a really, really nice entry for it too. So let's get that up there. Let's get that up, and then we'll get this tweet up as well. So as you can see, yesterday I did $600 across. I traded only one prop firm account yesterday. And then I did take a payout this morning as well on my FTMO account. So we can get that up too. Where's it over here? There we go. We can see over there like that. Okay, so I did take a payout with FTMO. As you can see, a $4,000 payout. And I look to keep stacking rest of this month. It is my first prop firm payout this year. I have taken personal payouts, but first one with props this year. So we look to keep on going. I've got another few accounts that are due for payout as well. So we'll see if we can get those over the line. But on the edgeful screener, we can see everything was predominantly showing me to be shorting yesterday, right? On the daily bias, 65% was looking for shorts. The only actual Mag 7 stock that was bullish in the first hour was Apple. So everything telling us to stay on that short bias trend. And then, as I said, that's how I played the shorts on YM, which I think, again, we pop up at the open, we're a lot more bullish on YM, but then we come underneath the New York session VWAP and we are respecting it. So I think just easy entries off this New York session VWAP and a daily VWAP back towards the lows made sense. Okay, cool. So that's been my month so far. I still prefer the darker screens. I don't know. What do you guys think? JS, Tony, what do you guys like? The lighter screens or darker screens for the charts? Personally, I like the dark ones, but like the bottom one over here. But yeah, guys were saying they like they want the dark as can be. I agree, bro. I like this dark theme. But anyway, guys were saying on the stream yesterday they wanted it lighter. Okay, cool. So so as I said, we are still trading on ES and NQ. We're actually trading above the new weekly VWAP on YM. ES and NQ, we are trading, however, below the weekly VWAP. The weekly VWAP is this blue dotted line coming across my screen. And we are showing resistance to it right now, hitting it not once, but twice during pre-market. Same as NQ, we can see we're actually trading well below the weekly VWAP, actually also at last week's lows, okay, which is this red line coming across my screen over there. Last week's highs was back up here, and we can actually, you can get that indicator with edgeful bottom left-hand section of the website. I'll show you now. ES still has a little bit of a way to go down towards previous week's lows, which is down at 60, yeah, basically call it 880. 6,880. But you can get those indicators bottom left-hand section over there on the edgeful website. And also make sure you do join the edgeful Discord. The link is on the website too, left-hand side over there, right? Any thoughts or questions in the chat right now? So this morning, just from a buyer's perspective, I'm a little bit indecisive here. Are we going to get a relief bounce on ES and NQ? I'm not too sure. But yeah, maybe something like this back towards the the opening range from yesterday to fill that little bit of a gap that we created just on that flush down. But I'm not too sure what at the moment. I don't really have a clear bias. I could easily see us maybe pop up and then roll over. But that's where the edgeful screener comes in, and I'll look to play in that direction, of course, and just look to see what is actually happening on the charts. We are at quite a strong level of support as well at 915. My next level that I am watching, as I said, back up here at 7,000. So those are the two levels that I am watching at the moment. I think if we clear 915, we definitely could head lower to those previous week's lows. So that's my levels right now on ES. Anyone got any thoughts or questions at the moment? As I said, I think when I'm not sure of a bias that I would like to trade towards, the best thing for me to do is just come to the screener and wait for that first 30 minutes to see what is actually setting up. As you can see, it only set up in the next hour, and just see where directional markets are trading. What is the Mag 7 doing? What is the VIX doing? And go from there. See, instead of trying to predict, I rather react, right? I hate forming a bias pre-market and then trying to marry it. I might have an ideal bias that I'd like to trade towards, but today I'm a little bit more indecisive. I could easily see us just popping up here and filling those levels that we did clear off yesterday. We have been for a long time now in the buy the dip market too. So yeah, I'm not going to be trying to force anything or make things happen. I'm just going to be trading what's in front of me as always. Any thoughts or questions in the live chat on the socials as well? We got a little bit of a mixed bag here overnight. Nvidia's down, Tesla's down, and Meta down, and the other Mag 7 stocks are all up. Okay, so that's obviously something to keep in mind. And then on a news front, let's make sure we go over the news as well. On the news front, we do have news that just happened now, ADP non-farm employment change. And then we do have ISM PMI services at 10 a.m. Eastern, so 30 minutes into the open. So please keep that in mind when looking to trade today. It is NFP week 2, so that's something to keep in mind as well. NFP is on Friday, or should be on Friday. Unemployment change, USD. It should be, NFP should be this Friday. Or is it? It should be this Friday. NFP, I'm trying to find it. Yeah, it normally is on the Friday. Interesting. Was it last week Friday? No, it wasn't last week Friday. It should be this week Friday. But anyway, NFP is normally the first Friday of every single month. That's why I'm saying it. It's interesting that it's not coming up over here. So ask ChatGPT. When? Maybe because of the government shutdown. When is the next NFP for the USA? Okay, let's have a look. Next scheduled release. Yep, there we go. ChatGPT says this, as expected. NFP next scheduled release Friday, 6th of February. Due to the US government shutdown in early 2026, the previous January report may have been rescheduled. There we go. Okay, so maybe no NFP then because of that. So yeah, that's clearly could be postponed, but let's we never know with that, right? We never know with that. Okay, so a little bit of a mixed bag here. If we just go to the overall stocks as well, geez, AMD's down 9% here pre-market. Wow, look at that. I still had those longs running on that runner. So probably going to get tagged. I probably got tagged on that. I had my stops up at 230. So yeah, I got tagged on that overnight. I'll have to open up my brokerage account, but very, very nice trade that I actually did have on AMD. I took it on the Monday the 12th of Jan, gapped up 5%, took 80% off, and then just had a runner on and got filled at 230. That's where my trading stop was. So yeah, I think as I said, a little bit of a mixed bag here pre-market. SMCR is up 10% pre-market. Wow, look at that. Earnings yesterday. Yep, earnings yesterday, and AMD also had earnings yesterday. That's the one. Yep. AMD had earnings yesterday as well. Actually beat earnings, but falling off. And then SMCR up 9%. And then a little bit of a mixed bag as well. Palantir was up from earnings the other day. Robinhood trading lower. So it is going to be interesting to see what we do get. The DAX is also trading lower today, as we can see. The DAX is trading lower we've sold off yesterday, right? And now built in a higher. And let's just get the opening range breakout like this. Yeah, broke the opening range low and continuing to fall off at the minute. So going to be interesting to see what we do get. I would not be surprised to see us also fall off on the US markets as well. So that will be an interesting one for sure. But again, what I'm just trying to do is trying to read and react, not trying to predict. Okay. I think if you try and predict, you can get yourself in a world of trouble. And you get married to a bias without actually letting markets open up and let it do its thing. So also something interesting, look at this. ES is up on the day 0.13%. If you look at the right-hand side of my screen over here, it's up 0.13%. NASDAQ is down and YM's down. So that is also quite an interesting one too. Normally what I have found is also when the DAX and that trades lower pre-market in the London session, it can be a front runner for US indexes as well. So DAX down could mean that US markets could come down as well. They do lead on from each other. What I have seen the correlation with DAX and NQ. Any questions in the chat? Tony, how's your week been? How's your week been, Jess? How's everyone going in the chat as well? I might want to take a short on the DAX here, actually. With a stop at the half day, more like a swing play. So, as I said, yeah, how's your guys' week been? Let me know in the chat. How's everyone going? I actually am going to take on one of my FTMO accounts here, the short on the DAX. I think it's offering quite a nice setup, personally. So I'm actually going to take a short on that, actually live on stream. I just want to get in. The DAX, remember the DAX opens already happened. So that actually might be quite a nice short potential. Yeah, okay, so I've just placed a short on the DAX. We'll see how it goes into the open. So I'm short at 24,770. Got my stop at half day. I don't want to be trading this like a scalpy type style. It's already taken our previous day's lows, and I'll look to see if it can ride this down. Okay, so that's my short trade on the DAX. As I said, I think it was a nice opening range break. It's rejecting now the daily VWAP as well. Okay, and coming off of that. So we'll see if we can take out lows. Hourly candle is looking pretty bearish as well, right? Like this. I have to change the color on that. There you go. Let's go like this. So I'll keep you updated with how that goes. I do like it. Go like this gray. Just change my long one so you can actually see where my stop is. Any questions in the chat right now, guys? Perfect. I'll keep you updated on that. What's up, Carlos? What's up, Turin? Good to have you in the chat as always. So keep you updated on the DAX, but taking on one of my accounts, yes, as I said, I would not be surprised for ES to get something like this, and then we look to roll over like that. It will be an interesting one. As I said, on the markets this morning, a little bit of a mixed bag. We got stocks up pre-market as well as down. And just going to be waiting for that first 30 minutes for at least the US markets to open up before I look to take anything on the US indexes. The DAX, I will trade London session, okay? And even pre-market as well, if there is something, because remember, their opens already happened, as much as it can be correlated with the US markets as well. Okay. Any questions? Tony, Jess, how's your guys' week been? Anyone else in the chat? For live stream is really considered. Yeah, 100%. Would like to see your work. MGC beating me up running or too tight of stops in this volatility. Yeah, geez, the gold markets have been. I mean, gold's up again 2% today. This is a 15-minute time frame, and silver up 8%. So even after that massive drop off, biggest down day since 1929, we are actually back up off those lows, back up 25%. So yeah, gold and that have just been ripping. I mean, it's been super, super volatile. Look at that. Look on gold. Literally gold from the highs down to the lows. We had a 21% retracement. And now we are back up off those lows, 14, 15% on gold. Got a good 21 point on Nasdaq this morning. Nice in the London session. So, yeah, I mean, also, if you look at the VIX has been trading a little bit higher as well, above 19. Remember, I have spoken about the VIX when it does trade above 19. I do prefer it. But look at this. VIX has been sparking. VIX sparked on that day on Thursday, okay, and as well as into Monday. And now we are starting to come off the lows too on the VIX. Normally when the VIX is higher, US markets tend to drop as well. Yep. So that's no surprise. I'm realizing the pause trading the RB or ORB is not really good on the London. Yeah, London session for the US markets can be very slow. I've got a couple of guys that try and trade in London session. I always say to them, listen, rather wait for US markets to open up before you take any trades on the US indexes. Right? If you want to trade London session, I'd much rather trade the DAX. It just does move in the London session because it is a European index, right, on the Eurex market. So that's my thought process there, right? On that. Maybe I'll try. Yeah, have a look at the DAX. I mean, the DAX gave a nice opening range break this morning. Look at that. If we put on the opening range, okay, not the New York session, the London. Look how this just broke the opening range, and you could probably also be in from the short up here of the retest of the opening range. So I'd have a look at the DAX rather than looking to trade US markets in the London session, personally, just from my experience. But yeah, did you use previous day green and red days report? I don't really use that report as much. I like to just see where previous days highs and lows are, Carlos. So we do go to that report, though. We can go there. We can go to that report for you. So the previous days, let's go like this: green and red days by weekday. You're talking about, right? Like this. So the green and red days by weekday on ES. Wednesdays seem to be very, very bullish days as well in the last 6 months. We can actually have a look in the last 3 months as well. Does this change? Yeah, Wednesday is still predominantly bullish. And then we can even go to the DAX as well. Let's go to the DAX. They don't have the future sticker for the DAX. They have a the CFDs, but Wednesday's also very, very bullish. But price action is not really respecting that right now on the DAX. So I like to rather look at the previous day's range report, where we have taken out the previous day's lows on the DAX, and you can actually have a look at this. Previous day's lows broken. Okay, let's actually go to the daily time frame. You have to make sure that the correct timing is on the left-hand side, right? Previous day's lows taken, 59% chance of a red day, right, in the last 3 months. We can also go to the London, okay, London session, 65. I always have this New York RB because you want from 9:30 a.m. open, right? You don't want the 8 a.m. You want the New York RB like that, okay? So when you are looking at the New York session, okay, you got to make sure that it is on from 9:30 to 4 p.m. or the daily, which is 5 p.m. to 5 p.m. So make sure you do have the correct timings on when looking at that. Like when you are looking at the opening candle continuation report, you do want that from 9:30 to 4 p.m. Eastern time. So like, for example, on the video, if that first hour is bullish, okay, 72% of the time will close as a bullish closing day. And the first hour is bearish, 72% as well. Do you know if there is an RB commodities for opening at 8:20? You can select the time. So if you're looking at the opening candle, you can always customize. Let's have a look here. So let's go to the commodities. Let's just go to GC. Okay, you can customize this. Okay, so it has the New York one over there, 9:30. I've also created my own New York one, 9:30 to 4 p.m. But you can create your own custom session. Look at that. Okay, you can add like one there and give it a name, and then you can choose the start time. So 8:20, like that. See what I'm saying? Yeah, so you can create your own one. Like I've created mine over here, right? Actually should delete this New York RB there. Yeah. Oh, now in New York. There we go. So you can create your own ones. Brilliant. Cool. So you guys have seen you actually can customize this. There's a lot of customizations that you actually can do, okay, within the report. So as I said, I'll be waiting for the first hour to set up on US markets and then look to take it from there. I am short the DAX, as you saw I took on stream. I'll keep you updated with that. And yeah, appreciate you guys, and we'll see you on the next live stream. I'm not on live on Friday with Andre. Greg's going to be on. I've got a wedding, but I'll be live here for pre-market streams. Perfect, guys. Cheers. Have a good one. I'll be in the Discord for the rest of the day.